ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ಭಕ್ತ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಭಾನುಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಬಾಲಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ಭಕ್ತ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಭಾನುಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ಭಕ್ತ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಬಾಲಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ನಂದ ನಂದ ಗೋಪ ಬೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದನಂದ ಗೋಪವೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದ ನಂದ ಗೋಪ ಬೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದನಂದ ಗೋಪವೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನೀಲಮೇಘ ಸುಂದರ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ಭಕ್ತ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಭಾನುಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ಭಕ್ತ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂದಾರ ಬಾಲಕೋಟಿ ಸುಂದರ.
ನಂದ ನಂದ ಗೋಪ ಬೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದನಂದ ಗೋಪವೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದ ನಂದ ಗೋಪ ಬೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ನಂದನಂದ ಗೋಪವೃಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
ವನಮಾಲಿ ರಾಧಾರಮಣ ಗಿರಿಧಾರಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ.
മാവേലി രാജാവിൻ സമർപ്പണഗാഥ വാമനന മുമ്പിൽ കൊടുത്തു സകലവും ആവരം കൊണ്ടാണ് ഓണം വീണ്ടുമൊരു സന്തോഷ തിരുനാൾ കേരളം മുഴുവൻ. The verse translates as, the supreme sacrifice of King Mahabali, who offered his everything to Lord Vamana, conferred the boon of Onam, bringing joy and happiness to the land of Kerala. Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sayude പാദദർശനത്തോട് നമസ്കാരം ചെയ്ത് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഓണമാശംസകൾ നേരുന്ന സഹോദരി സഹോദരന്മാരെ നമസ്കാരം. ഓണമാശംസകളോടെ നമ്മുടെ ആഘോഷം തുടങ്ങാം. Offering our salutations to our dearest Sadguru, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram, and a very happy Onam to everyone. Onam is a harvest festival celebrated by members of all religions, castes, and communities in Kerala. The land of Kerala, known as God's own country, is steeped in divine legend and spiritual heritage. The land that rose at the behest of Lord Parashurama, whose sacred soil was consecrated by the Vamana avatar of Lord Vishnu, was also the birthplace of Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, who propagated Advaita Vedanta in India and revived Sanathana Dharma. The story of King Mahabali is a lesson of exemplary devotion and humility that we must imbibe. Just as Vamana grew from a dwarf to cover all of creation in 3 paces, this mission under our Sadguru is expanding to become Trivikrama in the 3 verticals of healthcare, nutrition, and education, sheltering and nourishing millions across the globe. With the awareness that everything anyways belonged to Vishnu when he, as Lord Narasimha, destroyed his great-grandfather Hiranyakashipu, and he was only a caretaker, Bali Chakravarti offered himself without a second thought. So also, our mission is an opportunity for each one of us to surrender ourselves completely and wholeheartedly. The procession that welcomed Sadguru into the hall this morning was rooted in Kerala's rich culture and heritage. It included Mohiniyattam, a classical dance form of Kerala, Talapuli, a traditional form of welcome which symbolizes an auspicious beginning, and the rhythms of the Panchavadyam that transported us to the glorious temples of Kerala. The Panchavadyam is a traditional temple art form of Kerala that combines 5 distinct instruments: Timila, Maddalam, Idakka, Ilattalam, and Komba. Originating centuries ago as an indispensable practice during temple festivals, it is not just music, but an experience of rhythm, devotion, and collective energy. What makes Panchavadyam unique is its progression, starting with a slow, majestic pace and rising gradually into a thrilling crescendo. Today we have with us Sri Kottayam Vinesh Marar and his team, who have come all the way from Kannur in Kerala to present before us this traditional art form. Next, we have the devotees from Kerala who will present a bouquet of 4 songs in Malayalam. They will begin with Maveli Nadu, a song that invites their dear king Mahabali back to the land of Kerala during Onam. This will be followed by 2 compositions on Lord Krishna, Karuna Chayan and Andolanam, extolling his divine grace and playful charm. Finally, the offering will conclude with the sacred Harivarasanam, a song in praise of Lord Ayyappa that is played as a lullaby to him in the Shabarimala temple every day.
प्रणमाम्यहं शिरसा देवं गौरीपुत्रविनायकं भक्तव्यासं स्मरे नित्यमायुष्कामार्थसिद्धये कोटिसूर्य समप्रभं निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
கருண செய்வானேதோ தாமசம் கிருஷ்ணா கருண செய்வானேதோ தாமசம் கிருஷ்ணா கருண செய்வான் எந்தோ தாமசம் கிருஷ்ணா கழலின கை தொழுமே கருண செய்வான் எந்தோ தாமசம்
ആ ആന്തോളനം ദോളനം മധുരിപു ഭഗവാൻ മാനസമുരളി ചുംബിച്ചുണർത്തുന്നൊരാനന്ദ ലഹരി ആന്തോളനം ദോളനം മധുരിപു ഭഗവാൻ മാനസമുരളി ഗോക്കളെ മേച്ചും കളിച്ചും ചിരിച്ചും ഗോക്കളെ മേച്ചും കളിച്ചും ചിരിച്ചും കേളികളാണെ വനമാലി ഗോക്കളെ മേച്ചും കളിച്ചും ചിരിച്ചും കേളികളാണെ വനമാലി വിശക്കുന്ന നേരം പശുവിനകിട്ടിലേ വിശക്കുന്ന നേരം പശുവിനകിട്ടിലേ പാൽ മുത്തി കുടിച്ചു കൈരവശാലി ആന്തോളനം ദോളനം മധുരിപു ഭഗവാൻ മാനസമുരളി ശാസനം വിശ്വമോഹനം ഹരിഹരീശ്വരം ആരാധ്യപാദുകം ഹരിവിമർദ്ദനം നിത്യനർത്തനം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണകീർത്തനം ഭക്തമാനസം ഭരണലോലുപം നർത്തനാലസം അരുണഭാസുരം ഭൂതനായകം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ പ്രണയസത്യകം പ്രാണനായകം പ്രണതകൽപകം സുപ്രഭാഞ്ജിതം പ്രണവമന്ദിരം കീർത്തനപ്രിയം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ തുരഗവാഹനം സുന്ദരാനനം വരഗദായുധം വേദവർണിതം ഗുരുകൃപാകരം കീർത്തനപ്രിയം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ഭുവനാർച്ചിതം ദേവനാത്മകം ത്രിനയനം പ്രഭും ദിവ്യദേശികം ത്രിദശപൂജിതം ചിന്തിതപ്രദം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ഭവഭയാപഹം ഭാവുകാവഹം ഭുവനമോഹനം ബോധിഭൂഷണം ധവളവാഹനം ദിവ്യവാരണം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ കളമൃദുസ്മിതം സുന്ദരാനനം കളഭകോമളം ഗാത്രമോഹനം കളഭകേസരി വാഹനം ഹരിഹരാത്മജം ദേവമാശ്രയേ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശരണമയ്യപ്പ സ്വാമി ശരണമയ്യപ്പ ശ്രുതജനപ്രിയം ചിന്തിതപ്രദം ശ്രുതിവിഭൂഷണം भूषणं साधुजीवनं श्रुतिमनोहरं गीतलालसं हरिहरात्मजं देवमाश्रये शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा 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 स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा स्वामी शरणमय्यप्पा. पञ्चाद्रीश्वरी मङ्गलम् हरिहरप्रेमाकृते मङ्गलम् पिञ्चालङ्कृत मङ्गलम् प्रणमता चिन्तामणे मङ्गलम् पञ्चास्य भज मङ्गलम् जगदामाध्यप्रभो मङ्गलम् पञ्चास्त्रोपम मङ्गलम् श्रुतिशिरोलङ्कार सन्मङ्गलम्.
We now invite Dr. B. N. Narasimhamurthy sir to address all of us.
On behalf of every one of you, especially brothers, sisters, and children from Kerala, I take the privilege of offering our loving pranams at the lotus feet of Sri Madhusudana Trivikrama Vamana Murthy. Aditya, the compeer this morning, rightly pointed out that Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, who came to this sacred land, hallowed by the touch of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba in 2011, has now grown into a Trivikramamurti. What if you cannot go to Kerala for Onam? Kerala will come here. If 100 countries come here, why will not Kerala come here? Panchavadyam was there, umbrella bearers were there, lamp bearers were there, Mohini Attam was there, mellifluous Malayalam songs are here. If we can get avil and palkiru for lunch and then evening Kathakali dance, Onam is complete. What do you say, Kerala brothers and sisters? Hearty congratulations to Panchavadyam group. Having participated in over 40 Onam functions in the divine presence of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, I take this honor to say this is the best Panchavadyam performance I have listened to in my life. Mohini Attam, I hope they are our students. Are they our students? Yes. It was very beautiful. And the Malayalam songs culminating in the adoration of Harihara Putra, Ayyappa, really stirred our heart, I would say. Congratulations to all of you. And finally, congratulations to Chakravarti Mahabali, who had the honor of holding the umbrella over the head of Trivikrama Vamanamurti today and walk all the way from the entrance to the stage. On this most soul-filling occasion, I'm inspired to advise all our students especially and everyone, you have to study the most profound and inspiring story of Chakravarti Mahabali in the Bhagavata Purana. No doubt, being born in this country, we are very proud of our Upanishads, our Vedas, our Ithiyasas, our Prasthanatrayas, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra. But Puranas are no less. Pura eva nava iti Puranam. That is the definition of Purana. It is ancient and modern, relevant for all times. A spiritual classic, Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavan Vyasa, after having studied all the Vedas, classifying them into 4 Vedas, having composed the Itihasas, the Brahma Sutra, still he did not have peace of mind. He had derived great satisfaction from his monumental mammoth work, there is no doubt. Then Narada advises him, when he prays to Narada, how is it I can attain peace of mind? I know all the Vedas, I have studied all the Upanishads. In fact, I classified them into 4 Vedas, but still I don't have peace of mind. Then he is advised, compose the nectarine legends and stories of the avatars of Mahavishnu. And then he composes this Bhagavata Purana. One of the most beautiful spiritual classics in world literature, I would say. For those of you who do not know Sanskrit, Srimati Kamala Subramaniam has translated this Bhagavata Purana. Apart from Ramayana and Mahabharata, she has translated it into very, very simple and flowing English, completely true to the original Bhagavata. See, this is a book which is easily available and everybody can study. And this was a miracle. The way she wrote that itself was a miracle. Her guru had commanded her to translate these 3 spiritual classics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Bhagavatam, into English. Within a year, she was doing a lot of research and she was stricken with fatal cancer. She prayed to Lord Krishna, her chosen deity, grant me the years that I require to complete the translation. And there was a miracle. The doctors had given her only 3 months. She lived for 8 years after that and completed all the 3 translations, and then only she passed away. We have to remember her for that great contribution, and the best way to remember her is to study this Bhagavata Purana. All of us know that this Onam festival, we celebrate the 5th avatar of Mahavishnu, Vamana, and his great devotee, exemplary devotee, Emperor Mahabali. Out of the 9 types of devotion, Navavidha Bhakti, the highest form is Atmanivedanam, complete surrender to the Lord. Dasyam, Sneham, Atmanivedanam. Dasyam is servitude to the Lord, and Hanuman is the example. Sneham is friendship with the Lord. Arjuna is the example. And for the highest form of devotion, surrender, complete surrender, Atmanivedanam, Mahabali is the Chakravarti, is the example. And it is there in the 8th skanda of Bhagavata Purana, this. And Shuka Mahamuni, the Bala Avaduta, the infant Jnani, he is narrating the story to Parikshit, who had only 7 days to live. Parikshit, after listening to the story of Mahabali, asks Shuka Mahamuni, Balehe padatrayam bhumehe kasmat hari ayachate bhutyeshwarepi krupanavat labdharta babandakam He says, being the Lord of the whole universe, why did Hari, Mahavishnu, go to that emperor and beg for 3 paces of land? Bhuteshwaraha, he is the Lord of the universe, Krupanavat, like a miserable beggar. Why did you go to this emperor, Mahabali, and just beg for 3 paces of land? Labdharthapi babandatam. Why did he imprison him, imprison Mahabali in the Patala Loka, even after having received what he wanted from Mahabali? The story, all of you know, therefore I am not going to narrate the story. On this day, Vamana was born to the parents Kashyapa and Aditi. And the legend goes in the Purana, immediately he grew up into a boy of 8 years and walked into the presence of the Ashwamedha Yajna that was happening in the kingdom ruled by Mahabali Chakravarti. That's what, 8-year-old, a dwarf, he walks in, and all the story you know, and he grows into Trivikramamurti after having requested Bali for 3 paces of land. He calls him Daityendra. Padani Trini Daityendra Samitani Padamama. Runehem, I beg, Runehem. I request you for 3 paces of land as measured by my feet. This is what he asks. That is the alms or charity he seeks. After having got it, he measures with his 1 foot the whole of the earth, the other foot the whole of the heavens, and 3rd foot there is no place. See, that is when Bali Chakravarti realizes his great good fortune. He realizes, here I have got Mahavishnu come to my court and request for 3 paces of land. Can there be a greater grace of the Lord that could be showered on anyone? My life is fulfilled. He surrenders. He surrenders to Mahavishnu, Trivikrama Murti. And then something happens. 2 people, 2 celestial beings intervene on behalf of him. All this is there in the Bhagavata Purana. The first person is none other than Mahabali's grandfather Prahalada. He appears in the subtle form. And he prays to Trivikrama, you have redeemed my grandson by doing this. By taking away everything from him, you have redeemed him. It was you who gave him lordship over the 3 worlds. When my grandson performed the Vishwajit Yajna, you appeared, Mahavishnu, you appeared and gave him the lordship of the 3 worlds. And today, you have taken away everything from him. Both are beautiful, he says. Shobhanam, that is the word he uses. The act of giving him the lordship over the 3 worlds is beautiful. The act of taking away everything from him is also beautiful. Why? Atma Mohanat. He was deluded. My grandson was deluded. I am very, very thankful to you. That's what he says. And then comes Creator Brahma and intervenes on behalf of Bali Chakravarti. Then what will happen to this Bali Chakravarti today? Then comes the profound words from Mahavishnu. Brahman yam anugruhnami. This Sadguru had quoted recently. Yam Brahman yam anugruhnami. Tadvisho vidunopyaham. whomever I want to favor with my highest grace, I take away all his wealth and power. The first zero. Whomever I want to bestow upon my greatest love and blessing, I take away all his wealth and power. Why do I do that? Yan madaha purushaha stabdaha lokam mam chavamanyate. Because blinded by the arrogance of which this person ignores the world and also me. That is why I take it away, because it comes in the way of winning my grace. That is why I take it away. And this is the great, inspiring, and most sublime story of devotion of Mahabali Chakravarti, whom the people of Kerala adore, receive him annually every year and praise him. And that is a most wonderful story. It is not just a story. Everything in Indian culture has an inner significance. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, whatever is said in our scriptures, even if it looks most illogical, don't ignore it. It has the highest, most profound significance. We are all very, very fortunate today that we have gathered at the feet of the same Vamanamurti. Why I would say this? On 10th of July 2011, when Sadhguru came here seeking something, like Vamana, seeking something, on the command of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, he came here. That day he was Vamanamurti only, because only few of us knew him. Today whole world knows him. Even ChatGPT knows him. I was surprised. I just typed a question. Who is the global young spiritual leader in the world today who has combined spirituality with selfless service? I just typed. Number one is Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan sir. See, that is what is Trivikrama. Just 11 years. And then other names come after that. Even ChatGPT knows it. When I told this to my young friend Prem Sai, he said, sir, even artificial intelligence cannot refuse or deny it. That's what he said. I conclude with these words and pray to Trivikrama Vamanamurti, our Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, our most beloved Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, to grant his Onam message on this most beautiful morning. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
Onam Ashamsagal for the brothers and sisters from Kerala who celebrate Onam. My holy wishes for the festival. Such a wonderful start to the festival this morning with, as our Narasimhaji mentioned, Panchavadyam and Mohiniyattam and all the other festival songs. Mavali Nadu song, which is the most famous song sung on the Onam day. And even before my day started much better, because I started with Puttu and with Avial and so many other dishes that they had sent, including the boiled bananas, which are the Kerala dishes on this morning. So while I was having some breakfast, I was remembering all the devotees from Kerala and their simple-hearted devotion, like that of Mahabali, which won the grace of Lord Mahavishnu. Kerala is very steeped in devotional practices from time immemorial. And this tradition of Onam, when they welcome their own king, the great devotee Mahabali, back to their homes, they decorate their homes, light a lamp, put pookolam, prepare all kinds of sadhya and things like that. They receive him with great joy because he has set an example for all the Keralites. The example is that of surrender, which was mentioned just now. Highest form of devotion is to surrender to the divine. Naham, not me, soham, only that. The one who develops that devotion, there is no equivalent to such a person in the world. And as Bhagavatam narrates the story of Bali Chakravarti, for the benefit of the children, Bali Chakravarti was the great Daitya king. He had a lot of powers and he did a lot of tapas. He was the son of Kashyapa and Diti. Son means in the lineage of Kashyapa and Diti, because Hiranyakashipu was his great-grandfather. And he was very devoted to God. He was not a cruel person, though he was a Daitya Vamsha, but yet he was good person. He was very kind and noble, very just and very generous king. Looked after his subjects very well. Because of that, his glory started spreading and more people became his followers or his praja, his subjects. And that threatened the kingdom of the Devas. Indra, who was always desirous of more kingdom, more powers, he went to Vishnu and said, Mahabali after all is a Daitya, is a Rakshasa. He cannot own the 3 worlds and rule it like this. We do not want him this way. And by then Mahabali also had developed some sense of doership and enjoyership, bhokta bhava and kartritva bhava and bhoktritva bhava, that I am the greatest dani, the greatest charitable, generous king on earth. Because whoever goes to him and asks anything, he would give them without questioning. So when he was performing this huge yajna again, he was giving away things in charity, because that's a part of the yajna. That time Vishnu took up the form of Vamana Avatar, born to Aditi, and quietly came to ask for boons. And when Mahabali asked, what is that this Brahmin boy wants? Vamana said, I just need 3 paces of land. That is what we heard. And the first one, he covered the earth, we know. The second one, he covered the entire skies, all the heavens. And the third one, he asked, where shall I put my 3rd foot or 3rd pace, 3rd step? That is the time when Mahabali said, I understand who you are. And he bends low and offers his head, saying, put it on my head, because this is the only thing left with me. Rest of it you have already covered. But before this whole episode happens, there is one Shukracharya, a bad teacher. Today is Teacher's Day. Teachers should not be like Shukracharya. That is the example. The Shukracharya tells Mahabali, this is no ordinary person. This Vamana, the short dwarf that you see, is Mahavishnu himself. He has come to take away everything from you. And don't give anything to him. Bad teacher, he's teaching him, don't give anything to God. Mahabali says, if Mahavishnu wanted to take it from me, like how he did to my great-grandfather, he tore his stomach open and killed him and actually took over the kingdom. And then he gave it to Prahalada, my grandfather. And so this kingdom always belonged to Mahavishnu. As Narasimha Avatar, he had already taken this kingdom from us. But he has offered it back to us and allowed us to rule from Prahalada's times. So there is nothing that I can give him because it always was his. So he said, I'll anyway go ahead and do this dana. So when he was about to pour the water from a kamandalu, like you saw, they were trying to wash my feet with the kamandalu water. So that has a little spout and very narrow neck to it. So when Mahabali was about to pour the water, because water was almost like a legal document. You see, today we do registration of properties. With water we used to confirm the transfer of a property. So I pour water from my hand into yours, it means, and say what I am saying, then now it is cast in water. It is forever sealed. Kanyadanam we do. When marriages happen, the girl is given to the boy. That time also we pour water into the hands of the boy through the hands of the father of the girl. Because we are saying we are transferring the girl and her responsibility to you as part of the marriage rituals. Kanyadanam is happening like that. Any dana was given with water. So when Bali Chakravarti was about to pour the water into the hands of Vamana, the Shukracharya was very upset that this disciple is not listening to him. He was the king of all, he was the teacher of all the Rakshasas. So he had such ulterior motives. He became a bee and entered the mouth of the spout of that Kamandalu, the water jar, and blocked it. So our Mahabali is trying to pour water, but no water is falling. So how to complete the ritual of giving? And this Shukracharya is the one who was stuck there. So Mahabali shook the Kamandalu, tried to get the water out, but no water came. Vamana knew what's going on. So he pulled out a little straw from his umbrella, straw umbrella that he was holding, and poked the mouth of that jar, that water jar, the mouth of that spout. And there the Shukracharya was hiding inside, blocking the water. And that straw, it seems, went and poked into one of his eyes. And that's how Shukracharya became one-eyed man. He became blind in one eye. And then came out in a great pain, and because of the pain of his eye being destroyed, he came out shouting, crying, and then the water started flowing. That is how the Danam was completed. The idea is that nobody should come in our way to God. Mata, Pita, Guru, Bandhu, whoever it is, if they come in our way of God, we must get rid of them. In the sense, we must not obey them. Think of the great people who sacrifice their relationships for the sake of God. The great Prahalada himself, when his father Hiranyakashipu came in his way of God, not allowing him to worship Lord Narayana, Prahalada gave up on his father. He said, Father, he tried to explain to him, but father did not listen. And then when the great Narsimha Avatar happened, and he destroyed his father, all he prayed is for father's moksha, nothing else. But he was not interested in father if the father was coming in the way of reaching God. Think of Bharata. His mother was coming in the way of reaching Rama. Kaikai said, you should be the king. Your brother Rama should not be the king. And so Bharata said to Kaikai, in fact he pulls out a sword. Ramayana says when he returns from his in-laws home, he comes to know of the great tragedy that had struck Ayodhya. The Sri Rama was exiled, and he was to be anointed the king of Ayodhya. He was furious when he found out that it was all the plot of his mother Kaikai. So he pulls out a sword to chop off the head of his own mother Kaikai, saying, how could you do this to Sri Rama in your blind love for me, your son? You've forgotten what is right, what is wrong. And he had to be calmed down. And Kaikai apologizes, says, I made a mistake. We lost everything because of that mistake. We lost Rama, we lost Dasharatha, we lost all the good name that we had. So she wants to amend for that, and she goes to the forest to beg Rama to return, but Rama doesn't return. He says, I have given my word and I cannot come. So Bharata's mother, who came in his way to God, he sacrificed mother only, saying that I do not want you at all. I will rather go to Rama. Similarly, think of Mahabali, Mata, Pita, Guru. His Guru Shukracharya came in the way of attaining the divine or following the divine command. He sacrificed his Guru. In the sense, he did not obey his Guru. He abandoned that discipleship itself, saying, I will rather follow God, not a Guru which does not allow me to go towards God. The idea is that any relationship that comes in our way to God can be sacrificed. Because God is the most important relationship we must have in our lives. All other relationships are after that. If they help us go towards God, whether you are a husband or a wife or mother or father or any relation, it is fine. If it comes in the way of God, then those relationships can be sacrificed. That is the idea. Mahabali sacrificed everything. All his relationships, his kingdom, his power, wealth, only for the sake of following the divine, to become one with the divine. What happens after that, we all know. Vamana Avatar places his foot on the head of Mahabali and then gives him moksha. Sends him to Sutalaloka, they say. One of the worlds which is below the earth. There are 7 lokas below and 7 above, we say, right? 14 lokas are there. So Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. Though people say he's gone to Patala, but actually it is Sutalaloka, they say, that where Mahabali becomes the king of that world. Now you may ask whether there is another world, another planet or something where such things happen. No, it's in the subtle energy realm, where the soul goes and stays till he takes another birth. So permanently, Sri Mahavishnu tells him, go to Sutalaloka and asks him, you have pleased me with your devotion. Despite the opposition from your wife, your daughter, your guru, everybody, you still have obeyed me and offered me what I asked for. Now you ask me for a boon. And then Bali Chakravarti tells him, you also come to Sutalaloka and live with me. That is the boon I ask. Mahalakshmi hears that in Vaikunta. She says, my God, if Vishnu goes away to Sutalaloka, how am I to manage all this creation? Because he's the manager, sustainer of the creation. So she goes to Bali Chakravarti and tells him, you become my brother. And she ties, it seems, a string, or whichever way she says that you are my brother. And Bali Chakravarti accepts. Then he says, how can you do this to your sister that you take away her husband? So give back my husband to me. So now Vishnu has no choice. Bali Chakravarti has no choice. He tells Lakshmi, now that I treat you as my sister, I will do whatever you want. I have to gift you, I have to please you. So take Vishnu back. But in return, Vishnu gives him a boon that every year he can come to his people, his subjects, visit their homes, enjoy their hospitality and bless them. That is how the tradition of Onam, which is started with this idea that this is the time of that year, that auspicious time, and Bali Chakravarti comes to the homes of his devotees, his people, his subjects, and blesses them. And all around Kerala, it is celebrated. All Malayali people, whether they are in Kerala or they are in Dubai or they are in Sharjah or Abu Dhabi or anywhere in the world, they all celebrate that festival. They prepare all their homes to receive their king. So this is the glory of this story of Onam. Story of devotion, story of surrender, story of doing the right thing in the face of all adversities and wrong advice. Choosing God over all else. That is the story of Onam. And that choice, making that choice to give up everything for the sake of God, is the best choice that one can make. When it comes to God and anything else, there is no question of even thinking. God is the only and the obvious choice. There is no second choice at all when it comes to God. So anything for God, Tyajet ekam kulasyarthe, gramasyarthe kulam tyajet, gramam janapadasyarthe, atmarthe prithvim tyajet, it is said in Mahabharata. The individual can be sacrificed for the family. Family can be sacrificed for the community. Community can be sacrificed for the country. Country for the world. And everything can be sacrificed for the sake of realizing oneself. For the sake of God. Everything can be given up. But that is the real story, that Bali Chakravarti gave up everything for the sake of receiving the grace of the divine. He was not bothered that he was such a powerful king. He ruled all the 3 worlds. How can he give up all this? But he did not think twice. He said this always was of Mahavishnu. It was never ours in the first place. It was already his. He granted us back. He gave it to my grandfather Prahalada, from where I have received. So it's never mine. It is always his. That kind of devotion, humility. See, we attain a few things in our lives. We achieve a few things, and how much ego comes in, and how much attachment comes in. I have done this. This is mine. It's because of me that all this is. So much of ego comes in. And even when we do charity with such great ego. What is the ego? I am giving. I am giving to temples. I am giving to charitable organizations. I am giving to some poor, underprivileged person. I am giving that idea that this is mine and I am giving itself is a false notion. Because everything already belongs to God. And whatever we give with this humility that it was always God's. It was only in my custody. It was always His. My talent belongs to God. My skills belong to God. My knowledge belongs to God. My health, wealth, my relationships, everything that I think is mine, it belongs to God, because without God I would not have been able to achieve any of it. But what is demonic quality? Sattva buddhi people think like that. Sattvic buddhi people think everything belongs to God. What do demonic people think? Daivasura Sampada Vibhava Yoga is there in Bhagavad Gita. That's where it is mentioned. Daivi people think everything is divine. Asuri people think everything is me, because of me. The Ahankara is their main quality. Because of me. So when Bali Chakravarti developed a little Ahankara, Vamana came just to redeem him, because he was also a good person, devoted person. Ahankara is the very, very dangerous thing in spiritual path. The I and mine is the dangerous thing. And that is what Bali Chakravarti had developed, I and mine. And that is what Vamana Avatar came and destroyed. Because he was kind. What Narasimhamurthy said, if he really wants to grace you, he has to take away your ego and attachments, isn't it? If he really wants to grace you, means you should realize the self, you should realize divine. That is the ultimate grace. Everything else is a lower thing, right? Gracing one does not mean you become richer and more powerful and more popular. Real grace of God is when you realize the self, become one with the divine. And what comes in the way of that? Ahankara, Mamakara only comes. I am, and this is all mine. These two things are the reason why we do not realize the divine. So whenever this comes in our way, the divine incarnates. And what does he do? He destroys this Ahankara and Mamakara and ensures that we are able to go to Sakshatkara. So that is the way. That is the message of Onam. Get rid of our ego and attachments and this idea that I am somebody and something belongs to me. Everything belongs to the Lord only. Even I belong to the Lord, so everything belongs to the Lord. And that is how one should be able to attain divine realization, by having no ego and no attachment. Everything is that is what Ashtavakra is teaching us, isn't it? Either everything is yours or nothing is yours. Janaka says everything is mine or nothing is mine. The idea is that everything belongs to the divine. Otherwise, I am also not here. I also belong to the divine, so what can be mine? So that idea of dasoham bhava can help us from naham. As a soham, if you want to reach, we have to get rid of aham first. And to break that aham, dasoham is best. I am the servant of the divine. Everything belongs to the divine. I do not own anything. I am just a servant sitting here looking after the business of the divine, looking after the affairs of the divine. I am only a clerk in the office of the divine, just doing divine will. That feeling of custodianship or trusteeship or servitude is very important to break this very dangerous ego that does not allow us to realize the self. And that is why service activities you do, serve the poor, all these are the ideas with which you can get rid of our ego and attachment. And that is how you get closer to the divine. That is the idea. That bhakti one must develop, and that bhakti is not ordinary bhakti. Narada says, Satvasmin parama prema rupa amrita swarupacha. What kind of bhakti that is? Parama prema rupa, not prema rupa. Love for God means, I love God, God also loves me, then only there is love. If I love God and I don't receive any love in return, I don't love anybody. That's not the way. It's not a transactional love. With God, parama prema rupa, ultimate love. What kind of love? Where there is only giving, there is no receiving in return. When God gives, gives. Doesn't give also, He knows best. That kind of faith and surrender is a must in bhakti. And what happens to such a person? He says, Yab labdhva puman tripto bhavati, siddho bhavati, amruto bhavati, tripta, becomes satisfied. If you go and ask Bali Chakravarti, what did you gain in return? You lost everything. He will say, I am very satisfied that everything went to the divine, that I have nothing to call my own. I am very happy, he will say. Tripto bhavati. Siddho bhavati. He has attained everything, doesn't need to attain anything more. He has become the dearest king of his people and he has become immortal in the annals of the history of the avatars. He will never be forgotten. As long as you remember Vishnu, as long as you remember Vamana, you will remember Bali Chakravarti. He is got immortalized. Amruto bhavati. Nothing that he, na kinchit vanchati, na shochati, na ramate, no tsahi bhavati, it says. Doesn't desire anything any further, such a devotee. Na shochati, doesn't come to any regret or sorrow. Now what is to lose and feel sorrow, sad about? Everything is divine. Na ramate, nor gets excited about things also, gets attached to things because everything is divine. Everything belongs to divine. No tsahi bhavati. He is not the one who wants to initiate new things and improve upon what already is. He thinks everything is as per the divine will. Whatever it is, he is contented. He says, even beautiful, he says, such a person He Amruta Atma Ramo Bhavati says, the one who becomes established in the self. Matto Bhavati, Stabdo Bhavati, Atma Ramo Bhavati. The one becomes Matto, means intoxicated in that divine joy. Cannot think of anything else. These worldly temptations cannot attract such a person because he is lost himself in the divine joy of bhakti. Doesn't ask, doesn't demand, doesn't think, doesn't desire. Satisfied within oneself. Atmanyeva Atmanatushta is this. So Matto Bhavati, intoxicated in the divine joy. Stabdo Bhavati, becomes as if stupefied or silenced because what's to speak? Everything is divine. What can we speak about this whole glory of the divine? So such a person, Nativadi, they say, becomes quiet. Stabdo Bhavati. He's turned into silence. Everything is so glorious. Atma Ramo Bhavati says. Atma Ramo means becomes established in the self. Absolutely in peaceful, comfortable state of existence. Does not get affected by ups and downs of anything. Such a person is true devotee, says Narada. And Bhari Chakravarti has epitomized devotion through his surrender. And so we celebrate, imagine, in India celebrating a demon. Aren't we? We are all celebrating. When I go to Sri Lanka, they worship Ravana. And Vibhishana. They are all, so to say, from the demonic clans. But they also worship Ravana because they know he was a great Shiva Bhakta. And it was, of course, a Leela. And they even worship Vibhishana. When I was wanting to have a conference on Ramayana in Sri Lanka, they said, if you are going to portray Ravana in bad light, we are not going to have the conference. Ravana is our king and he had great virtues. Yes, one or two slips happened, but when that slip happened, Rama came and redeemed Ravana. Likewise, when Bali Chakravarti slipped, Vamana came and redeemed Bali Chakravarti. So they did not want Ravana to be portrayed in any way that he was not a nice person. And same way here, Bali Chakravarti, we don't say he's not a nice person. He was a nice person because despite his faults and follies, he still surrendered to the divine and attained ultimate moksha. Morning, somebody, Rajshekar, sent me a very nice message saying from the same lineage, there are two. One is Hiranyakashipu and one is this Bali Chakravarti. Hiranyakashipu never surrendered to the divine, yet divine redeemed him, but in a different way. He had to tear open his stomach. Whereas Bali Chakravarti simply realized this is divine and surrendered. Surrender is the key. If you don't surrender, then you go through all the motions of life, ups and downs, you struggles and strives, because your mind is not surrendered. It is not able to accept anything. It resists, questions, doubts, fights, and does not have peace. But a surrendered mind like Bali Chakravarti, absolute immediate peace. And so much so that it seems Bali Chakravarti's daughter was there, Ratanamala. And the Brahmavaivarta Purana says this story, that this Ratanamala felt that when she saw Vamana, it's so cute little small boy, like our 6th, 5th class boys are there, no, very cute link. She felt, what a beautiful boy. I would like to have a baby like him. I would like to be a mother to a baby like him. Like that she thinks while it seems Vamana walks into the Yajna Mantapa. But when she sees this Vamana is growing and he's destroying her own father, she becomes angry. And she says, I would like to destroy him. Because she does not understand this. See, after all, a Rakshasi, isn't it? So she wants to take revenge. And it seems, the story goes, the mythology of it goes that in Dwapara Yuga, when Sri Krishna avatar happened, the same Ratanmala was born as Putana and tried to breastfeed baby Krishna and poison the baby, because that was the instinct of the mother that she had. She had the desire to breastfeed the baby and treat like her own child. So Krishna gave that opportunity to her. At the same time, she also had this intention of destroying the Lord. So that opportunity also Krishna gave to destroy him. But of course, he cannot be destroyed. So ultimately, she got destroyed, but she also got redeemed. So in our culture only, we are worshipping Rakshasas, demons and demonesses because they ultimately showed us that they also surrendered to the divine, which is difficult for the demons to do because they have a huge ego and they have a huge attachment. That is what is Asuri Sampada, Ahankara Mamakara. But they have overcome that and surrendered. We are humans, right? Or we are demons? We should be able to surrender better than them, faster than them, isn't it? Because we are born a little in a better yoni. We should be able to do that. Why are we not able to do that is the question. Because in all of us, there is the Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satvaguna is there. And because of this adho gachanti tamasa, it says, the people with tamoguna go below, down under. It means they fall below. That tamas takes over, then we behave like demons. But here are demons who have behaved better than humans and gods. In fact, Indra is always worried about his simhasana. Any little shake there and he'll go running to Vishnu, please save me. One demon is becoming powerful. You have to give me my chair back. Chairperson syndrome, I call it. They can't give up their chairs. They'll give their life up, but they won't give up chairs. Like Dhritarashtra won't give up his chair. Got all his children killed, but remained the king till the end. In fact, Dhritarashtra after Gandhari, all the children are gone, right? Only these two are left. Still they're in the palace. They're not leaving the palace. And Dharmaraja is so sweet and nice. He says, after all, they are also like our parents. Why would I ask him to vacate the chair and give it to us? Leave it. Then Vidura comes and gives a mouthful to Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, saying, now at least come out of this moha for chair. You destroyed your entire clan, Dhritarashtra, because of your desire for this chair. And now also he is saying, oh, Dharmaraja is such a nice, he is after all my son only. He has allowed me to continue being the king and be here in the palace. He has not learnt anything after the war. He still wants to sit there attached. This is Rakshasi Pravritti. This is Asuri Sampada. Attachments like this is demonic. And that is what Bali Chakravarti gave up. He gave up that just like that. He said, yes, it belongs to Vishnu. This chair was given by Swami. I am sitting here performing my duty. Tomorrow he says, vacate the chair. I should jump out of the chair then and there. Not give excuses. Another 2 years, 5 years. Leave me on this chair. No, you should have no attachment to whatsoever. You should be very free, very free. That freedom of detachment is true bhakti. Bhakti which is attached even to a name and form is not real bhakti. That is not para bhakti. It is still bhakti, but it is not para bhakti. It is not the parama prema rupa. It is not amruta swarupa. It is still mortal bhakti. That's why grow beyond name and form also, I keep telling. We worship name and form because it helps us to focus and develop some kind of discipline in our devotion. But ultimately go beyond name and form. That is what Ashtavakra Gita is telling all the time. Go beyond name and form. Otherwise that becomes an attachment. A gold chain, that's all. If it's not an iron chain, it is a golden chain that binds us nevertheless. So that is the idea of our traditions are so rich with such beautiful stories, such moral lessons, and the greatest lessons in spiritual path of devotion and surrender. And this Onam festival, I was thinking, Onam is written O-N-A-M, right? If I make it, if I shift the O to the other side, it will become Namo. N-A-M-O means Namaha, not me. That is what Onam is telling us. It's not about you, it's about the divine. It's surrendering our divine, our feelings of I and mine, Namaha. That is what Onam is all about. So you must remember this lesson, and this is the most important lesson. Otherwise, Vishnu has no choice but to keep taking all kinds of avatars. When the people on the other side are like that, very stubborn. Hiranyakashipu's boons, nobody can kill me, man cannot kill me, animal cannot kill me. Why, I can't be killed in the morning, I cannot be killed in the night. I should not be killed by weapons, I should not be killed inside the house, outside the house. So many conditions he had won from Brahma. But Vishnu found his way and tore him open through his nails on the doorstep, keeping him neither on the earth nor in the sky, by keeping him on his lap. And then not being a man or an animal, being a half man, half animal. All, not in the night, not in the day, in the evening hours. In all possible ways, the Vishnu means you are making God's job so difficult by being such difficult devotees. Isn't it? Vamanavatar he had to come, because if he had come like a normal big person, then Bali Chakravarti would not have been very interested in giving that dana. But he said, I am a small fellow, after all, what 3 steps of land, what is that it's going to amount to? That is what Bali Chakri thought. He didn't think that this man is Vishnu. So likewise, God had to take so many forms. Look at all those forms up there. Become fish, become tortoise, become half man, half lion, and become short dwarf. So also become Parshurama, Rama, Krishna, like that. There are various types of avatar. One day one boy asked, what about the Kalki avatar? What happened to that? It's supposed to come, isn't it? What happened to that? I said, when it has to come, it will come. I wanted to avoid that conversation. He said, okay, but why would he come in horse? Now cars are there, buses are there. School kids. Why that horse? Because now nobody uses horses. Now everybody uses cars. Then I said, like this, there are so many more avatars of Vishnu. This is just a depiction by one saint who has put it together like this. In some other avatars, like here we show Balarama. Another place they show Buddha as the avatar. So these are just ways of telling that how compassionate is the divine, that he changes forms, names, situations to suit the devotee, to do what is required for the devotee. And that is what is avataric mahima. When we became Vamana, a dwarf, for the sake of redeeming Bali Chakravarti and also restoring dharma and doing the right thing. What an amazing story. Once somebody said, all your history is full of these fantasy stories, cock and bull stories. What is true, the truth in that? What is the guarantee all this is real? Some foreigners would think. Our answer should be, at least we have these nice stories. You don't even have those stories in your culture. We have stories from which we learn something. You have no stories, you learn nothing. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, today is Teacher's Day. He was also a great teacher. And he was always defending Hindu thought. Because while he was working in the British rule, people were of another faith. His own professors in Madras were of another faith. So they'll keep telling that Sanatana Dharma and Vedic Advaita thought does not have any ethics and moral standing. And he wrote a paper as a boy, his dissertation, about ethics in Vedantic philosophy. And he got appreciated by the same professor who said that your culture, your spirituality does not have any moral or ethical standing. And he talked about how Vedantic philosophy of Advaita, which he calls Abheda, means there is no difference, can give you the strength to overcome the temptations of the world, including those of flesh and other powers. Because the Vedantic thought itself, so how can a Vedantin be not moral or ethical? Their moral, ethical, how it happens in the structured religion. Do's and don'ts, basically. Commandments and principles. That is how it goes. In Sanatana Dharma, Hindu Dharma, there is no real set of rules like that. Manusmriti is there, but that's too long. It's not like a set of commandments. So that was the bone of contention. And he writes and finally concludes that Vedantic thought of Abheda, of no difference between anything, can ultimately help you overcome the temptations of the world, including those of flesh and other powers, that the world, holds sway on us. That is the idea of Advaita. It redeems us from our pettiness, limitedness, attachments, and delusions. And that is what is the story of these great devotees. But once a river becomes the ocean, it is no more a river. Like that, once Bali Chakravarti surrendered to Mahavishnu, he is no more that old Bali, his old self of Mahabali. He became one with that divine. Only continued to serve in whatever way he was asked to. And as a part of his service, as I said, these are the auspicious days, and he comes here and blesses the families of his devotees and his subjects. And everybody should be deriving inspiration from the life of Mahabali. These are wonderful stories. I'm sure after this wonderful program in the morning, especially the Panchavadyam, I enjoyed it so much. I really felt like it was so heavenly. In Kerala, there is a festival of Puram is there. That time you should see those elephants, all these Panchavadyams, and so much of festivity, joy, and of course little noisy, but then that's the expression of the joy. It's amazing, the amazing tradition. I also been to Kaladi. Very first, when Bhagwan took us to Kaladi, with a lot of our students of first batch, I think, or second batch, 2 students of university, 2 batches went there. What an inspiration. Adi Shankaracharya's land of Kaladi. One boy shook the very foundation of all the false narratives that were plaguing the country. Yeah, this is when we went to Kaladi, to the Adi Shankara Janmabhumi Kshetram, that is, next to that river. So we went there. It was so blissful. There is a thought that one boy from here walked up all the way to north, south, west, east, established schools of Advaitic philosophy and changed the narrative once for all. He introduced Indians to this idea of Advaita and destroyed all the darkness of ignorance that was gripping at the soul of this very country. All the practices, superstitious practices, the karmakandas, he redeemed us from all of that and made us understand the oneness. Again, a great contribution from the holy land of Kerala. At that time it was not Kerala, but it was a Mavalinadu. So from there, such a young man came, and so it was very inspiring. And also, of course, Ayyappa Swami, the temple, and the kind of rituals they do. 40 days they perform very severe, strict austerities. Then they go all the way to Sabarimala. And then they go up the hill walking with Irumudikatte on their head. And all the way they walk, it is very slippery, very steep. Steps are also not easy. I don't know whether anything has improved now, but otherwise, if it's raining, it's even worse. But people with such fervor and devotion, after 40 days of fasting and doing all kinds of rituals, they come and they climb the hill, and then they go to Ayyappa and then they pray to him. And they get only 1 second of darshan, that's it, because such a huge, huge crowd. And that poor Ayyappa doesn't get to sleep also, they just close the temple and open it back within a few minutes. Because crowds, till today, I was told, I went to Ayyappa, luckily I went when I was not a Sadguru, because I could easily go and I could enjoy that real way of going. See, this going in helicopters, landing in temple and straight going for darshan is not as enjoyable as going through the process of performing your austerities, going by road or walking a little distance and then climbing the hill on your own. That was the time I could go. And there is a rule that in this Ayyappa is not, he won't get married till he's getting a new devotee. There is a thing about it. So every time a new devotee comes, we have to plant a little flag-like thing outside. There is one goddess sitting there. She wants to marry Ayyappa, but he wants to remain brahmachari. So he tells this goddess, till I am getting a new devotee, till that day I will not come out of the temple. You will not enter the temple. We will not get married. The day I have no new devotees, that is the day I will come out, you can marry me. So she is waiting outside the temple, it seems. So when anybody goes new, I was the new devotee, first timer to Sabarimala. So the one who took me told me, oh, you have to plant this thing over here, a flag-like thing, to tell that lady goddess there that I am a new devotee, so you can't still marry Ayyappa, you can't break his brahmacharya vrata. Amazing thought. I'm going to put one pedestal outside, put that flag. So Ayyappa remains like that, a bachelor, and continues to serve, because there is no other, there are 18 steps like that, golden steps you have to climb, and finally you have darshan of Lord Ayyappa. So many beautiful traditions in Kerala. Yesterday, one of our students somewhere in Mysore is studying, I think he has a history teacher who is not of Hindu faith. I think he started this whole thing about Ayyappa Swami temple. You know all that, the women have to be allowed and things like that. So he was asking me, I said, I'm not going to make any comment that will lead to unnecessary chaos. But the truth is that every temple has a tradition. We have to respect the tradition. There is a reason for everything. Why some people are allowed, some people are not allowed, and things like that. And we as human beings have our own limitations. Men have their limitations, women have their limitations. Based on that, there are certain rituals, rules and regulations. And I told, there are millions of temples, go anywhere else. Why you want to come to this temple only and fight like this? Go anywhere, so many temples are there, everywhere you are allowed. Why come to this temple and disturb the faith? After all, religion is faith, isn't it? You're disturbing somebody's faith, it is not nice. Somebody is worshipping a piece of stone. You go and tell, what is this piece of stone you're worshipping? He is worshipping, he is enjoying. What is your problem? You want to be a jnani and tell him that don't do any of these things. That is not your problem. That is, he is enjoying, he is experiencing something. In Tripura Rahasya, what does Dattatreya give Parshurama? Again, Parshurama, Keralite. What does he give? One piece of stone, saying this is Tripura. This is Tripura Sundari. Worship her. Parshurama does not ask Dattatreya, where is the hand, legs, eyes, nose, nothing. This is not as an idol, it's just a piece of stone you picked up now. He believes and worships for 12 years and experiences some spiritual development, and then he has a lot of right questions. Pariprashnas are there. So he goes back searching for Dattatreya, and that is how Tripura Rahasya, whole Upadesha follows. So people have their faith, their understanding of, they believe Bali Chakravarti comes, he comes. Where he comes, which door he comes from, where is he standing, show me. This kind of nonsense we should not entertain. There is something called faith, and faith has its own way of doing things. Now, when our children should not get disturbed by anybody questioning our faith and questioning our way. That is what Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan fought. when people were questioning the faith of Hindus and asking them, putting them in these kind of difficult situations, he gave back. And he spent whole of his life defending the Hindu thought of Advaita, highest thought of Hindu. So today we celebrate that. When he was the president, I believe, some people, students went and told, we want to celebrate your birthday, 5th of September. Then he said, rather than that, you celebrate it as Teachers' Day, because I think the nation needs teachers. And the teachers should be the best minds in the country, he said. Teachers should be the best minds, the most brilliant, capable, competent, character people should be teachers. After that, you should take up any other profession. Because they mold the character of the next generation. If they are weak, how they will bring up another generation which is strong? So he was so insistent upon that. We were lucky to have a president like him. He also was the Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University after Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya. And his thought on Hinduism, Advaita, Bhagavad Gita, education is very inspiring. His work and his writings are very inspiring. I wish we have more people like him. But the idea is that he defended the Hindu thought even as a president. He never gave up the idea that what we are thinking, what we believe in is wrong. There are faults in what you call cracks or fault lines in every religion, in every thought process. But you must ignore that and take the right one. So we continue to celebrate Onam. We continue to bring Bali Chakravarti to our homes. We continue to believe that he still lives on in a Sukshma Rupa, in the Sutara Loka. We continue to believe that Mahavishnu can come in any form, in a Vamana avatar, in a Matsya Kurma. So we see God in everyone and everything. And we continue to eat sadhya on the Onam day. We will not give up any of these things because this is our faith. This is our culture. We must be proud about it. So once again, blessing everyone and thanking the devotees from Kerala who made such wonderful arrangements, and they have also made arrangements for food, I'm told. So you will get your avial and all that, don't worry. You will also get to eat some lunch today. Today we are celebrating Kerala and Onam as the festival. May the grace of Mahavishnu be upon all of us. If ever such a situation comes that Mahavishnu comes and says, give me something, we should never hesitate. We should have the courage of Bali Chakravarti to surrender and say, yes, everything belongs to you, I belong to you. There is no question of asking, just take whatever you want. You don't have to ask. That kind of courage we should have in our devotion. That kind of surrender we should have in our devotion. And we should continue to get inspired by these festivals. Our Indian culture, our philosophy, our rituals, they have great deep significance. The next generation should know about it. That's why these festivals are celebrated. So blessings to everyone and special blessings to the Panchavadyam team. They've done so well. I'm planning to retain them back. Are they here for evening or going back now? Sayankal Uttara. They're here. They can play again in the evening. Just for that. Before the Kathakali is there, let them play from the stage. So everybody sees, and then after that Kathakali they can play for 10 minutes, it's okay. All right, thank you. Very, very happy. Kerala, Malayali, what do you say for happy? Santosham. Very happy. Two Malayalis, if you say first question, they ask, Malayali Anna? Are you Malayali? First thing they ask is, once they know they're Malayali, that's it. There is no separating the two. Everywhere they go together. Because we stayed in hostels, and there's one whole Malayali people means they will all be one group. And they are very loud when they talk. We think they are fighting. Like tumblers and vessels are falling. But they are just talking. It's a beautiful language, a mix of Tamil and Sanskritam. Lot of Sanskrit words are there in Malayalam. It's a nice language, one can learn easily. Not very difficult. If you know Sanskritam, it's very easy to learn Malayalam. Okay, all right.
सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महित मंगलम सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महित मंगलम दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय सर्वलोकहितरताय सर्वमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् सदय हृदय राजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय सदय हृदय राजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय शरणमुक्तिकारणाय मोक्षमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय सत्य साईनः प्रियाय सत्य प्रेम विग्रहाय नित्य शुद्ध निर्मलाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम् सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम् ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवं मर्यन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मर्यन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकाररूपा ओजस्वी ॐ साई महादेवा सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगलहारति अंदुको मंगलहारति अंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ॐ जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण 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 ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण 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 ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण 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 ॐ नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ सत्य नारायण नारायण ॐ जय सद्गुरुदेवा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय जय बोलो सद्गुरु मधुसूदन साई जी की जय।